Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of January 16th, where I hope last week you had a good first week coming into January of 2023. I would love to know what lit up for you with the moon, what was going on, how did you find yourself being in your space, in your body, what's your emotional life been like. We also got to see Mars come out of retrograde last week. We'll welcome Mercury out of retrograde this week, as well as have a new moon. Say happy birthday to Aquarius. So there's a lot going on, but I'd love to know, as we're traveling week by week and watching the increments of growth, what's changing for you? What are you noticing? What are you finding yourself, you're like surrendering to it a little bit more? We're doing much more conversation this year on this channel about acknowledging the times of when the moon is void, of course, so that you can really see how many opportunities in a given week you have to rest, and that it is not a 1 hour rest situation, that it is a stop moving like a machine, stop moving that fast, put down what you think is so important and take a deep breath for a couple hours. I want to highlight that for you this year so that you have the opportunity to be in your body, to have the real experience of how the astrology and the energy is moving you and you are changing. Now, to also support us in all of the transits, all of the timing of the void of course moons, you know, when we're talking about new moons, full moons, and how do they fit into the larger moon family, we've also still got the soulmate family discount from Tiffany over at Wise Guys Collective, so you can get your digital transit calendar. And if you haven't done that, please make sure you click in the link down below. Check it out. Check out what it is. We've got $17 off. But man, that thing is so useful all year long. I mean, from our friends who do crystals and who do herbs and spices, you know, I use it when I'm cooking, to looking at what's a personal question I could be asking myself this week that guides me. What are things that could be happening in my diet? How does this fit into the larger picture? The digital transit calendar speaks to absolutely all of that. I mean, you know, short of having an ephemeris, your natal chart, and a really good tool that can help you, I don't know what else to tell you to get, but this one is absolutely fantastic. So click in the description box down below. Take advantage of that code. It is just for the Astrology Soulmate family. So thank you again to Tiffany for that, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, as you can see, the background here looks a little bit different. And you guys cracked me up talking about my little paint spots. So you could pick a color. I absolutely love you for that. But as you can see, obviously some big changes are on the way, and I promise you I am going to share with you what's coming. But I also want to walk you through, at the time I started telling you guys in the weekly videos that changes were coming on my side, it's also a demonstration with you about how long change can take. It's really not to keep you interested in me and on the edge of your seat to see what I'm doing. It's that the changes I've been talking about week by week, there's more information every week, and many of you are experiencing that as well. And then, you know, we get past the Mars and the Mercury getting direct and starting to move back into their flow, and we will each have new stories and new information and different truths to share with each other, and this week is a part of that. So I wanted you to understand that it's really a piece of this is to mimic the astrology that I'm showing to you as well, not just in the report, but even in how things are changing around me, so that you can come with me on the journey of the physical space changes as well, okay? All right, so coming into this week, first of all, we've got a national holiday in the United States. We're celebrating Martin Luther King Day, so we've got this. It's a great day of observation, of, you know, however you celebrate in your area. I know that lots of places will have local celebrations and things like that going on. It's not astrological, it's more, and you may not celebrate it in other countries as well, but we are doing that here in the United States. Now, that said too, though, when we get into Tuesday, we get Tuesday around 7 a.m. And from 7 a.m. until about 10:30, we're going to see the moon coming in this week in a void of course state. So when the moon is void of course, some people really enjoy it and you get empowered and you feel like, ooh, good, okay, right? And other people, you can literally feel it during the day if you're calibrating into what's going on in your energy, and it'll be like, whoa, I don't know what happened, but I kind of feel like the wind just got sucked out of my sails. Or if this is the time that you get up, sometimes it can feel like it's a little bit harder to get up and go. Like you're like, where has it gone? But really what the time is your indicator that we're coming into this week with a little bit of rest, retreat, review, meditate. You don't have to have that conversation right now. Just give it a few hours. Let's get later in the day. And as a matter of fact, as we do get later in the day, we see the moon transition into the energy of Sagittarius for its monthly visit, okay? Now, as the moon is traveling through, you can tell it is still Mercury retrograde. Anyways, as the moon is traveling through Sagittarius, this is nice because at an emotional level, you're asking the questions of what are my truths? What conversations do I need to have? What adventure am I thinking of? What bigger plans am I emotionally prepared to make? And looking back to last month, where are the plans that I've been planning on making? Where are they kind of coming along? And now I can step into, the next vein of that planning situation. What does this look like? It's really the question of, when you're seeking, what you're seeking is also seeking you. So it is a great time to be finding information, especially at an emotional level. And you will have that energy to travel with as we're going all through Tuesday. So take beautiful advantage. Let's just enjoy the Mercury retrograde right now. We've had a full system reset, so all of the electronics are going to talk to us for a minute. Okay, and we're back. So we get to Wednesday, and right away we have got the Sun and Pluto coming together in a gorgeous conjunction. So this is a really lovely energy. And as this happens, I want you to calibrate to the information that this can be very, very empowering, right? You can be speaking up. You can be standing in your truth. You can be just really empowered in what you're thinking, saying, doing. But also, this is, again, a fantastic energy to do research, not like look around, deep research. Like what really is that tax law? What does that tax law say? I mean, it is the optimal time for you to be digging for information, whether it's information about, a project that you're working on or something that you're going on. Now, it is Pluto. This is Plutonian energy. So for sure, I always ask, what are the motives? When we're working with Pluto, why are you doing what you're doing? And sometimes we need to search our motives, not my intention, but my motive. Why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I really trying to get or make happen here? To be clear on if you should continue down that road or not. And it's Pluto. It can lead you to the honest answer of what needs to die off or what needs to be destructed in order to live again. So that can create a little bit of either what feels or looks like as crisis in your life. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. This is not a crisis aspect, but if something stirs up, it is to grab your attention and say, this is not working. This is not working this way. It needs to change this way so that it can become what it needs to be next. So having had that moon in Sagittarius, we're looking at the next phase of the plan. So what does it need to become? This is a great way to use this aspect. Now, later in the day, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde, coming direct. Welcome. So the thinking planet Mercury and the doing planet Mars are now both direct. So we will start to see that the energies creep forward. The plans we've been making, information that has been revealed to you, where you thought things were stuck, where you're like, Stormie, listen, I've been in purgatory over here. Anything I've tried to do is not getting done. Everybody's been under it. So now everybody is going to start to release as well. And that includes businesses. You've been trying to book the carpet cleaner for like weeks and weeks and weeks and nothing's been happening. Now it can start to move forward with this Mercury being direct. Now, before you book all your appointments because Mercury is direct, keep in mind that Mercury needs just a little bit of time to speed back up and start to function in the facing forward energy again. And Mercury is not fully out of its retrograde, post-retrograde shadow energy until February, okay? Mars is not fully out until March, so we are moving forward, but we are moving forward with information we've gathered already, and we need to proceed quite slowly, okay? March speeds everything up, trust me. I just finished the forecast for March. Okay. Now, as we roll over into Thursday, we're coming into another period of void, of course. And if you have that digital transit calendar, you'll be able to see the exact length of time, where it's at, even that, where can you rest, particularly in your chart, or go back over something. But then later in the day, we see the moon move into the energy of Capricorn. So now it's time to like emotionally get your ducks in a row, right? That's what I love to think about that. Like your ducks are getting in a row, you're getting it together. It's like, okay, hold on, I need to get my resources sorted out, all of this good stuff. Happy birthday to our Aquarian soulmates. So happy birthday. Your solar return, your annual beginning is on the table. Hopefully you have rested, worked on the things behind the scenes. You are feeling slick and rejuvenated and ready to move forward into your annual year. For the rest of us, remember to look at the areas in your chart where Aquarius is at. If you're not sure how to find that in your chart, click in the description box down below. I've got a video on how to find the active transit in your chart, so you can see specifically in your chart where is the Aquarian energy that this season is bringing your attention to. Work smarter, not harder. That is a real benefit of astrology. Work smarter, not harder. Stop guessing where it's at in your chart and just look, okay? But this season is really about innovation, right? Aquarians innovate. Aquarius is also the sign of the astrologer. So bring more astrology into your life. I would love that for you and me. It's a friendly energy. It's the place where maybe we're doing more grouping, we're doing more socializing, things like that. So it's really the uncover, discover, discard, but in a very innovative kind of way in this season. Now, as we get to Saturday the 21st, we see the moon now moved into the energy of Aquarius as well. But first, we're going to have this other void, of course, moon energy. So again, it's a rest for a minute. Then the moon moves into Aquarius, and then right behind that, we've got the new moon at 1 degree of Aquarius. Okay, so it's a new moon. 1 degree is just getting into that sign energy. So really, truly, as we're talking about planting your seeds of intention in this Aquarian season, in this particular area of your chart, I want you thinking big cycle on what you're doing. So first of all, because it is a new moon, it means the Aquarian area of your chart is very fertile. So what you plant here, for good or for ill, is going to start to take blossom. So be choosy. Be that accountable for your life and your emotional space that you are choosy at this time, right? We've got this moon happening around, 1 in the afternoon. So around 1 in the afternoon, where can you be choosy with your emotions, be choosy with your thoughts, and in what you're seeding into this particular moon cycle? Because what you're going to plant your seeds of intention now, we're going to check in on it as we get, where are we going to check in our cycle? We're going to check in on it in October. We're going to see it again in July of 2024, and we are not going to complete this thing until April of 2025. So let me tell you what, are you willing to carry whatever it is until 2025? So be very, very choosy, but plant your seeds of intention about where you're emotionally excited to begin something. You want to bring something new in. You want to plant those flowers. You want to try out more vegetables. You want to innovate. You want to change your social life. You want to understand technology better. It's Uranian ruled as well as Saturn ruled. Where are you getting information that feels like your intuition is just lit up? You're like, I get it. I understand. I can't believe I didn't see it that way before, but it makes total sense right now. Pay attention and key in to where these changes are happening, because again, whatever you're starting here has really got some nice shelf life that you're going to walk with for quite a few minutes here. Okay. All right. Now, as we're going to round out this week and we're coming to the 22nd, we've got a couple things happening. First of all, we're going to see Venus come into a conjunction with Saturn. Whenever this happens, I like it, because whatever's been bringing us pleasure, joy, things around finances, things in our relationships, as they get together with this Saturnian energy, the rose-colored glasses lift, and instead what we're planning, we take a different look at it, right? It's like, okay, hold on. This seemed like the best thing ever. Let me step back, take a very Saturnian eye on it, and make sure that this is as expert as it can be. This is as well disciplined as it can be. So you can use it as a space to reassess what's going on, but also it's about make it delicious, right? Make it so that this has some serious long-term stability into your life. You know, are you making a commitment at this time? Are you setting up a payment plan? Are you setting up passive income? You know, and at first, when we're dealing with Saturnian energy to the extreme that we need to learn, it can feel a bit lonely, or you can feel doubtful about what you're looking at. Remember, the vibration of this transit is just showing you the growth point for you specifically. Now, I do think, in my experience, when Venus and Saturn are kind of closing in on each other, you're able to sense this energy. You really can feel it a few days in advance. So I wouldn't be surprised if, as you're planting those seeds of intention at that new moon, you're kind of going, really, truly, what do I want here? What is the innovation? What's the different pathway forward? You know, so look at that as we're experiencing this energy. Now, later in the day, as we're going to close out the Sunday energy, we have got Uranus coming direct, and I am really excited about this. Uranus has been spending Uranus has been spending a lot of time on Stormie Grace's sun. I mean, even as it moved forward and then it retrograded and now it's going to go back forward. This has been a lot on my sun. So let me know in the comment section down below, where's Uranus at in your particular chart? Remember, Uranus has backed up to 14 degrees. So where is 14 degrees of Taurus in your particular chart, okay? Now, Uranus is coming out of retrograde, and we're going to see Uranus all the way out of its post-retrograde shadow energy when we get to May of 2023, okay? So from May of 2022 to May of 2023, what have you been looking at that causes you freedom? You're making different decisions. You're like, nope, I don't have freedom here. This is blocking me. This is keeping me in. This is making me feel trapped. I need to innovate here. I want to do this in a different way that leads me to some kind of freedom, some kind of value. Relationships that could not hack it. Your finances, if they have not been where they need to be for you to be free and to be comfortable, have certainly keyed your attention. Absolutely. You know, work, resources that have to do with technology or receiving, right? Taurus is not always the best at just receiving the help that it needs, right? So this kind of been a very receptive time for you, where it's like, you know, in a very groundbreaking way, I've needed to ask for help and bring in someone to help me shore up my resources, someone to help me grow in a relationship way. But whatever it is, the times in your life between May and this May, last May and this May, have been about what are you doing in the Taurus area of your chart, 14 to 18 degrees, that is really needed to be adjusted to bring you freedom. Now, Uranus will retrograde again this year. It does. It's an outer planet. They go retrograde every year, but it's not going to retrograde again until August. So really, a lot of the fruits of your investment on what brings you freedom, I think you'll really be able to see, and you know it. That's the thing. It's such an inner knowing, right? Like, what I want you to think about when you're thinking about what has happened between May and now is when you go to bed at night, or when a certain topic comes up, whether it be around relationships, whether it be around finance, or whether it be around your weight or food or these kinds of things, what happens in your insides? Do you feel free and like you can participate and you know what's going on? Or is there like a tension? And what is the difference between how you feel in that space now, you know, as opposed to when you were looking at it in May of 2022. So lots of reflection to do, but planets coming out of retrograde, we are starting to move ourselves forward. The vision, the plan, the information we have been gathering is starting to be able to take effect in a very forward motion. Please take advantage all week long, my beautiful friends, of your void of course times. They are your times to remember you are not a machine. You're not going to work like a machine, and you have more rest periods available than maybe you even realized, even in just a given week, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, get your digital transit calendar. Yes, my books are open and they are going to start being open again as we get to the summertime. So if you're looking for summertime sessions, that's the time to get in with me. I love you a ton. If you are not on my newsletter, join it because that's where all of the information comes. You get first access to all sorts of things. And if you're not in my Patreon group, we've got lots of good stuff that's starting to come out over there as well. I love you, beautifuls. Have a great week and I'll see you next week. Bye.